Anika. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well too. So, what's happening around? What's going on?
Currently, my sister's wedding preparations are going on in one end, and I'm just back from, that preparation and some travel and all of that.
Amazing. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So, let's begin the interview. Let's begin with the brief introduction about yourself. Kindly introduce yourself to the people watching.
Yes. So I am a social media manager and I've been doing this for about 2 years now. And I'm also an SMM coach where I teach people how to become a social media manager and do what I do. So this I've been doing for about a year now. And other than this, I am also a content creator. I create some videos for YouTube, Instagram, and yeah, that's about it. I'm basically an online entrepreneur.
Wonderful. Welcome to Journeyteaches. So, the very first question for you is, how can one start one's own business and monetize accordingly using the power of social media? How can one shift it offline if needed, along with the team setup, instead of just being the digital presence?
Yes. So, of course, you can actually create any business, be it a physical business, be it an offline business, and bring the marketing aspect of it online. That's what it majorly is. Like, even as a social media manager, I am marketing my services on social media. That's what you ultimately do. So, anybody can start any business and start marketing it on social media. And having said that, there are certain business that you can do entirely online, just like what I do: social media management, virtual assistants, copywriting, graphic designing, and there are a ton of things out there that you can do entirely online. And like you said, if you want to shift it eventually offline as well, the major part of it would be the teammates itself. You would want to bring an offline team. You would want to have a team, probably an office space where everybody come together and give an online service. Your clients also probably can come to meet you in your office space, so you have that personal touch. But other than that, an online business like what I do is majorly online itself because it is on social media.
True, anybody can shift it offline anytime, and with respect to bringing on the clients with themselves and the team setup as well. Okay,
Absolutely.
so how can one ace the social media game and be an exceptional SMM?
So first of all, I like to believe that, so for example, if you are a bank manager and imagine you don't know where to process the checks in, like for example, I'm walking into the bank and I ask the manager, where do I process the check? And imagine the bank manager says, I don't know. Would it be fair? Would it be fine? No, right? Similarly, a social media manager should know about social media. Like if they can choose a particular platform and actually learn about that platform, know the ins and outs. How do you know the ins and outs? It's actually slightly easy, specifically if you are a social media person, because a lot of even if you're not a creator, even if you are a consumer, because a lot of us, we've always heard this, right? Oh, you're always on your phone. What do you always do? Majorly all of us are scrolling through social media, be it Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Maybe not LinkedIn for leisure, but in general we are all scrolling through a social media. So if you have an expertise in the social media other than just scrolling, if you do a little more research about these platforms, you can be an exceptional social media manager, because you would know about the social media platform. You should know how to really market a product or a service or an offer on social media. So that's how you would become an exceptional social media manager.
That's so true. In order to become an exceptional SMM, you just not need to consume the content, but you need to create good content as well.
True, true.
Okay. Often people confuse the term SMM with social media marketer as well. So, what do you have to say about that?
So, to be honest, a social media manager and a social media marketer has a little there is a decent gap between both of these angles, but both of them can be both of them as well. Like, for example, I market a lot on social media. Like, I market for my clients, but I also manage their accounts. So I would say I am a social media marketer plus manager. But a lot of people, though they call themselves a social media manager, they do a lot of stuff that a marketer would do. They brainstorm a lot of strategies, they brainstorm a lot of content ideas. But yes, there is a little bit of a confusion in these terms that's going on in the industry. Having said that, once you know what your deliverables are, what your promises are for your clients, and if you stick to those, I don't think name doesn't really matter, I guess.
That's absolutely true. Right. There is a slightly noticeable difference between social media manager
Absolutely.
and a marketer. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, what does it take to produce content on all the major social media platforms? How do the strategies vary? Share some of the strategies too.
Yeah. So with of course, in different social media, I suggest that every social media platform is different, obviously, and every social media platform has different sets of people hanging in and around in that platform. So, for example, if you are on LinkedIn, you're majorly you're looking for work or marketing your work and stuff like that, compared to people on Instagram are relaxing. They come there to relax, they come there to unwind. So I feel like first you need to understand who your ideal clients are for your business and where are they hanging out most. So if you are providing a service for, say, career counseling and stuff like that, then probably LinkedIn would be the place, because LinkedIn is a place where people come for career making and career building. Whereas if you're probably, if you are selling scrunchies, LinkedIn wouldn't be the right place, because even though I am a person who loves scrunchies, if I'm trying to build my career, if I'm looking, I wouldn't be looking for scrunchies on LinkedIn, because scrunchies is not a part of my career. It is a part of my leisure or my personal life. So you first need to understand where people are coming for what, and specifically over the period of over the last couple of years, specific platform has been built for specific reasons. So look for that reason specifically, and look, that should be the foundation of your strategy. Where are your ideal clients? Like I said, if you're doing a fashion related, if you have a fashion related business, and if you're marketing it on LinkedIn and you're trying that, oh my God, nobody's buying my products, then honey, you're not even doing it right. Your foundation is wrong. So I think that in itself, like, that is the major difference in all the social media platforms. It is built for specific reasons, and specific people come to specific platforms for a set of things. So that is where you need to understand who your ideal client is. A lot of businesses don't even know who their ideal clients are, and only when you know who your ideal client is and where they're hanging out, that's where you want to market your services.
Absolutely. So well said. The strategies vary according to each and every platform. And I just loved your example that the fashion related industry will actually not find the ideal clients on LinkedIn. So
Link,
that's so
true,
true.
true.
And what strategies do you recommend for people creating content on a variety of social media platforms?
I would suggest first and foremost, stick to 1 to 2 platforms, and don't just go haywire in all the platforms, and then not be able to create enough and consistently enough on all of the platforms. Say, for example, if you're jumping into 4 to 5 platforms, that would, as a human being, I feel it's very difficult. If you have a team, then yes, you would be able to manage that. But as a beginner, since you would mostly start off as a single person, or probably you might have an extra partner or somebody to start off with, highly suggest to start off with 1 to 2 platforms. Build your name there. Then it's easier also when you say, for example, you focus entirely 1 or 2 years into Instagram. You have built a certain audience that you have. You give one shout out that you are on LinkedIn now, you will automatically have a set of people ready to follow you there. As opposed to if you're everywhere, you're not able to create, you probably won't even be able to grow one platform to a level. where you would. So that would be my first suggestion, to start off with one particular 1 to 2 platforms maximum. And then I would suggest repurposing content over creating new content over and over again. You just have to take one major topic and then break it down to different aspects and post it in different platforms, so that you are not looking at an entirely different concept or topic for the content in different platforms. Then you would totally burn yourself out, and you would feel like, I have nothing else to talk about. I've done all of this within a month in different platforms, and they're done. And even inside a platform itself, say for example Instagram, if you've created a post about a month or two ago, nobody would remember it as much as you would remember it as a piece of your content. So if you can repurpose it as a reel, it's not like people will remember it as much. So that is how social media works. You really need to repurpose your own content into different platforms and different sizes of pieces of content as well.
Absolutely. It causes no harm if one reproduces one's own content in different social media platforms. It actually helps. Okay.
True.
Okay. So, how does one manage the work life balance appropriately by managing such a wide range of activities on various platforms?
I would say planning helps a lot, of course, and of course, being flexible also helps a lot. I've noticed when people talk about planning, and they talk about planning so extensively that the audience is misguided sometimes to think that planning is the only way with life. But over the last 2 years, I've realized that no matter how extensively you plan your life happens on its own way. Happens, you all of your plans can be washed out with one incidence in your life also. So I would say that have a rough plan ahead. Your yearly plan should be in place. You should have a monthly plan. You should have a weekly routine as well. So these are the tasks that I do every week and every month and stuff like that. Having said that, be flexible enough to accommodate the life's challenges or life's own way. So don't just always be like, okay, no, this is the time I am going to do this, and you just stick to it no matter what. Of course, there is a thin line between procrastination and letting life happen. So don't let it be procrastination. But when things happen in a different way and not as per your plan, let those things happen to you and change your plans accordingly. So I feel that is the way with work-life balance, and specifically with the field that we are in. And as a freelancer, you have that ability to move things around. You have the ability, you have the power to, fix your schedule according to your own way. So I feel like that's the great way around it. So for example, I have a dog that usually gets super active at around 4:30 or 5 p.m. And I know for a fact that if I don't take her on a walk around that time in the evening, she gets very restless and she gets very bored. So thankfully, since I don't have a boss, I have the liberty to tell no for any meetings that come up around 5 to 7 p.m. because that is my dog time. So that's how I like to manage my time, wherein I give the time to myself or my family according to when it's needed. And when it is work time, I do have the work time as well.
Very well said. So, two conclusions I would like to draw from what you have said. First is be open to change. And second one is this is the power of freelancing, that it gives you the flexibility to be your own self and decide the things upon being on your own. So, the next question I would actually like to ask you is what is, according to you, can be done in the long time vision? For example, we do not just have to be freelancers or being a service providers, but we should focus on the creative, innovative idea and, start up our own business. So, what do you have to say about this?
Obviously, I do believe that you cannot be doing the same thing over and over again. After a while, you probably will get burnt out a lot. So there is a lot of things. I feel there is endless things that you can actually do in the online and offline aspects of the life and business. So what I strongly believe is, if you ask me what are your plans for 5 years later, I really don't have a plan for 5 years later, because I do believe in the change of life itself. I don't know what Anaga of 2022 and Anaga of 2027 might be two entirely different people, because that's what I was. And if you look back and see when I was in 2007, 16, 17, you will not even recognize me, because the life is taken over and changed in this past so like it has changed so differently, so entirely, that I wouldn't even imagine I would be this person in that, like 5 years ago. So I believe that, like I also mentioned, I believe in change, and I believe. So, for example, if I set a goal for myself for 5 years later, what if I don't want to be that person at all? What if new things come in? Because our world is also very quickly evolving. What if new things come into picture? So, majorly, I only have yearly goals. I just want to focus on what I want to do in this year, and I don't really think about a very long term thing. Having said that, one should always remember that no matter what, you will be able to sail through. You, if you have the power to do the hard work, you will be able to sail through. That's only the thought I have. So 4 years, 3 years, 4 years later, I don't know what I'd be doing, but I know for a fact that I would be working hard and smart, of course. So that is how you should be thinking, that no matter at different stages of your life, a newer thing you will be, like you said, innovative, creative things will be coming your way, smarter things will be coming your way. Just have to make that decision to pick that up at the right time of your life.
Absolutely, the right time really matters, and deciding the things properly and going with the flow, it really works. Okay, so what do you suggest with
Yeah.
reference to the art of Googling for the results expected?
So basically, art of Googling is, I feel like that's something I've picked up just as a millennial person, that you if anything you don't know, you just Google and take it forward.
So, for example, if we are confused about how to get the appropriate results that we desire from Google, so what is the correct method of that following the art?
Okay, so okay, that's fair. So basically, what you should be doing is you should at Google is basically a research machine. It's not just a search machine. So you have to actually sit down and Google whatever you want. First of all, keywords, you should understand what exactly you're looking for. Don't write the entire sentence or the phrase on Google, obviously. And once you have that in place, you really need to go on different platforms and read enough. You have to, the ultimate thing here is to research and not just search and end your search. So you have to really research, you have to read a lot of blogs written on the topic, you have to watch a couple of videos to understand what what you intend to search, look for. So that is how the major structure of the art of Googling is.
Okay, absolutely. So, what are responsibilities and the pricing accordingly are covered under a virtual assistant?
According to me, virtual assistants is like a massive umbrella with anything and everything virtual, helping someone with virtually, right? So, a graphic designer, a web designer, a social media manager, a copywriter, everybody is ultimately a virtual assistant, specified and specialized in a certain field. So, a social media manager is a virtual assistant who is specialized in social media. A copywriter is a virtual assistant who actually is specialized in writing. So this is what it is. So pricing with respect to virtual assistants is basically depends on a lot of factors. Pricing is a very hard nut to crack, to be honest. But ultimately, you are a freelancer and you are free to choose your price. Whoever says that, oh, this is not the market price, I really want to ask them, what is market price? Like what? Who is the market? All freelancers put together makes market. And for anything that you want, so for example, a social media manager, you would find a social media manager that charges $100 per month, also $2,500 a month. So there is a varied range. Like that's a massive difference, right? So yeah, that there is no one simple single rule for pricing as a virtual assistant.
So, rightly said, pricing it really depends upon various factors, and there is no hard and fast rule according to what is the industry rate, and we should charge accordingly.
True.
So, there's nothing like
True.
that. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, what do you have to say about cracking international clients?
So first of all, I don't think there is that much pressure that you need to take just because they're international clients. They are just sometimes they're just as clueless as any other person. Sometimes they're just as knowledgeable as any other person. So majorly you need to there will be certain aspects that come into play. It could be the culture, it could be the language, it could be the accent. As a social media manager and stuff, accent wouldn't matter, language would. So for example, if you're writing color, the spelling of color varies from US to UK, it varies to India. So basically you need to, if you are looking for a specific client, then a specific client from a specific country, then I would say you should be knowing their language and culture to be able to market their products or services to to their audience. And the other thing that usually comes into picture with an international client is timings. So with timings, you just as a freelancer, there are two things that you can do. Some people work at the client's time zone itself. That is also great if you can figure that schedule out. But that's not necessary, because ultimately, if it's a US client, you would have an exact opposite time zone. You would be working. It would be typically light shift. Then I would suggest getting a 24-hour turnaround time, and then you need to just figure out the timings for your calls only, and you can work during your day and submit it whenever you're done, and then they would take it from there during their day. I don't think it should be a hassle at all.
This is such a wonderful tip for everybody watching, and I would really recommend like following this tip for, especially for the international clients, because timing is a lot of problem, and adapting with their language, with their culture to their specific market needs. So it really works like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think consistency, quality, and quantity of the content we are producing matter to what extent?
I would say more than quantity, consistency and quality matters, because if you're just going to upload 2 to 4 pictures or posts every day, and it doesn't make any sense, it's not well curated, it's not researched enough, and it's just posted because you have to post a lot. I feel like your audience will be drifted apart from your content. They're more likely to unfollow you. Whereas if you're giving them, say, 3 pieces of content every week, but it's very well researched, it's something that will help your audience a lot, then it is more likely that people are waiting for your content, and they, even if they're getting only 3 per week, it's very valuable and they wait for it. And with that, you will be able to establish yourself as an authority. You will be able to establish as yourself as a person who knows what they're doing, and they knows their products or services really well, and that will help. So if somebody is waiting for your free content, then they're almost waiting to also buy your paid product. So obviously content, you need to be consistent to be able to beat the algorithm and go with the algorithm. But quality of your content will keep your audience hooked to your account.
Definitely. Quality really matters rather than just reducing and producing a lot of content, because the audience, it creates a kind of curiosity in the audience and they engage really well as well. Okay.
True.
So now I would like you to talk about your SMM mastery course and the related.
So SMF Mastery was born when I was receiving a lot of DMs about um, how to be a social media manager, or how do I price this particular thing. A lot of my peers back then texted me asking all of these questions, like how do you give a service, how to onboard a client, how to what do you discuss in the discovery call and stuff like that. That's when I realized, okay, there is some kind of a gap that I could fill. And that's how ZAA was launched in 2000, towards the end of 2019, 2020. It was 2020, 21. So the entire that's how I actually launched. First, I launched a beta course, and it really got amazing response. I had, I think, 12 to 13 people inside. All of these 12 people have made it into their online career. Some of them have quit their jobs. Some of them have never taken up a job after college at all, because of their social media management hitting so well. So yeah, that's how I started off as a coach. And after 3 patches, I'm now like SMM Mastery is also now a cohort and a self study. So you can choose the kind of model that you want to go to. A cohort is a slightly high end package where I handhold you into getting a client and learning to helping you become a social media manager, whereas self study is a self paced course where you can do it at your own pace, whereas focus cohort is majorly for 6 weeks only. So that's how it is divided. And SMM Mastery is gaining a lot of popularity because I kind of help, I teach from the beginning. Like, I take you through from the mindset, and then I cover this skills that are necessary for you to be a social media manager. I teach about 4 major social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And then I also talk about getting a client, what you need to do to get a client, and all of those part. And then also creating a system as a social media manager, because a social media manager's major skill needs to be being organized. If you don't have a system in place, then you will be able to probably manage 1 client, but anything more than 2 clients, you will be all over the place. It has happened with me. So that is how I created the entire system, and I've put it inside as a module. So yeah, so if you're inside SMM Mastery, you then know from, you can typically, like the name says, you will be taken through from zero to, you will be taking an action, and then you will be able to really build your career on this field. So that's the entire idea.
Awesome. That is so wholesome. And I congratulate you on this, building this wholesome course. It's so amazing to listen to all the services and all the modules it has to offer. So thank you so much, Anuga, for sharing this. I will drop the link in the description below. Do check them out. Thank you so much for coming on my channel, and it was so nice to talk to you. And thank you so much for sharing such valuable insights in a single session.
Thank you so much, Kriti, for having me here. It was absolutely lovely talking to you. I absolutely liked it. Your questions were so well thought of. I absolutely enjoyed this entire session.
I enjoyed it too. Thank you so much.